Hello and welcome in today's lecture. Today we shall be talking about urban problems related to energy in India. Urbanization is the movement of human population from rural areas to urban areas for the want of better education, communication, health, employment, etc. Urban sprawl. About 50% of the world population lives in urban areas, and people from rural areas is moving to cities for employment. Thus, the urban growth is so fast and it is difficult to accommodate all the commercial, industrial, residential, and educational facilities within a limited area. As a result, there is spreading of the cities into suburban or rural areas. This phenomenon is known as urban sprawl. The degree of urbanization has increased tremendously. Two factors have led to urbanization: pull factor and push factor. Pull factor. These are those factors which attract the person for availability of employment, like more income, best education, etc. Push factor are those factors which force the person to migrate from their house due to circumstances. In India and all other developing countries, urbanization is due to pull factor. Causes of urbanization. As we know, urbanization has become a common feature in Indian society. Growth of industries has contributed to growth of cities. As a result of industrialization, people have started moving towards the industrial areas in search of employment. This has resulted in the growth of towns and cities. Various reasons have led to the growth of urbanization, which includes industrialization. Industrialization is a major cause of urbanization as it has expanded the employment opportunities. So, rural people migrated to cities on account of better employment opportunities. Social factors. Many social factors such as attraction of cities, better standards of living, better educational facilities, need for status also induce people to migrate to cities. Employment opportunities. In rural sector, people have to depend mainly on agriculture for their livelihood, but Indian agriculture is depending on monsoon. In drought situations or natural calamities, rural people have to migrate to cities in search of food. Then they prefer to stay there in rural areas. Modernization. Urban areas are characterized by sophisticated technology, better infrastructure, communication, medical facilities, etc. So people feel that they can lead a comfortable life in cities and thus migrate to cities. Problems relating to urbanization. Since in our country, urbanization is unplanned due to uncontrolled migration, due to unplanned urbanization, India is facing too much problem such as unemployment, electricity problems, pollution, social problems, improper sanitation facilities, etc. Rapid rise in urban population in India is leading to many problems like increasing slums, decrease in standards of living in urban areas, and also causing environmental damages. Three factors are contributing to urbanization: industrialization, transportation, socio-economics. Urban problems related to energy. Energy is one of the major pillars of economic development of the society, and economic growth along with a growing population will obviously consume a lot of energy. Houses in urban areas now made of more heat sensitive materials such as metals like iron, glass, aluminum and concrete instead of heat insensitive substances such as wood and brick, so consume lot of energy. To make these houses comfortable, we use air conditioners or room heaters run by electricity. High-rise buildings need energy to operate lifts and electrical energy for lighting. Most urban people use their individual transport rather than a public one. Similarly, each and every step in an urban center needs energy in some or the other form. To meet the enormous energy needs and for long-term sustainability, we should be more specific about the most efficient and cost-effective manner of energy use. Energy is an essential need of a man wherever he lives in urban or rural society. In urban areas, the need of energy is increasing by leaps and bounds. Take the case of mega urban dwelling places. Vehicles, both petrol and diesel engine driven, are seen flowing like floods. These vehicles run with the basic input called oil, which is one of the most important forms of energy. According to the estimate, the worldwide demand for energy will be increasing and will get doubled in the years ahead. Moreover, countries use energy in an uneven manner in the world. Some countries use more energy while many others use very less. The countries use energy for following purposes: residential and commercial, industrial, or transportation. Residential and commercial use of energy. The amount of energy required for residential and commercial use varies greatly throughout the world. The economics of energy consumption describes that a country with high GNP, that's gross national product, roughly national income, uses less per capita energy for residential and commercial needs. 30% energy used in North America and 90% used in India is for residential and commercial purposes only. Reason is very simple. North Americans use air conditioning, refrigeration, water heating, and space heating. So 75% energy is used in these gadgets. In India, almost all the energy used in home is for cooking due to scarcity and high cost of fuel. About half of the energy demand in Africa is for cooking because they use an open fire instead of stoves. Using more efficient stoves instead of open fires could reduce these energy requirements by 50%. Energy use in industry. The industrial sector uses more delivered energy than any other end-use sector, consuming about one half of the world's total delivered energy. The industrial sector comprises a diverse set of industries including manufacturing, food, paper, chemicals, refining, iron and steel, non-ferrous metals, non-metallic minerals and others, and non-manufacturing like agriculture, mining and construction. The mix and intensity of fuels consumed in the industrial sector vary across regions and countries depending on the level and mix of economic activity and technological development, among other factors. Energy is consumed in the industrial sector for a wide range of purposes such as processing, assembling, producing steam, cogenerating, heating, air conditioning, and lighting in buildings. Industrial sector energy consumption also includes natural gas and petroleum products used as feedstocks to produce non-energy products such as fertilizers for agriculture and petrochemicals for manufacture of plastics. It's important to note that industrial energy consumption differs significantly from that of other sectors, particularly residential and commercial, such as electricity. The industrial sector is relatively less dependent on purchased electricity than the commercial and residential sectors, since it produces a significant fraction of its own power through direct fuel inputs and some industries through cogeneration. A form of cogeneration is combined heat and power, which produces thermal and electric energy from a single fuel source. Petroleum products. Petroleum products represent a larger fraction of industrial energy inputs than those of the commercial and residential sectors. However, a large fraction of consumption is not for fuel use, but rather as raw material for petroleum refining and chemical manufacturing. Natural gas. In the industrial sector, natural gas represents a significant fraction of total energy consumption than for other sectors. In addition to fuel use, natural gas is also an important raw material in industries such as chemical manufacturing and petroleum refining. Coal. Despite being an important fuel source for some industries, the use of coal by the industrial sector has declined steadily since 1950, when it was largest fraction of industrial fuel inputs, to a relatively small fraction of industrial fuel inputs today. Over the same period, use of coal in electric power generation has grown rapidly, currently supplying more than 60% of energy inputs for electric power generation, and thus represents an important, though indirect, source of energy for all three end-use categories except in transportation, particularly commercial and residential sectors. Renewable sources of energy. The industrial sector is a significant user of renewable fuels, in part due to the extensive use of biomass fuels in paper and pulp product industry. There should be urban industrial energy demand of sustainable development as considerable variation is found in the amount of energy used for industrial processes. About 30% of energy is used by USA for industries. In the former Soviet Union, large deposits of coal, oil, and natural gas reserves are available. On account of the reason, steel is processed from ore because energy is readily available. Spain and Italy lack large deposits of fossil fuel necessary for the extraction of oil and natural gas. So, both Italy and Spain produce steel from scrap steel because it needs less energy. Producing 1 metric ton of steel from iron, or in the former Soviet Union, uses as much energy as producing a metric ton of steel from scrap in Spain or Italy. Large capital investment is required to upgrade the processes of industrial production because updated and upgraded machinery and equipment reduce industrial energy consumption. Many countries of the world cannot afford to convert their existing processes due to financial and other constraints. For example, take the case of India, a nation with few coal deposits still uses the outdated open hearth furnace to produce steel. This process needs double the worldwide energy for producing a metric ton of steel on an average. India, being an underdeveloped and developing country, is unable to change the process to modern methods, has to continue to use energy expensive methods. Energy use in transportation sector. Energy use in the transportation sector includes energy consumed in moving people and goods by road, rail, air, water, and pipeline. Air transport is the second largest energy consumer after road transportation. Transportation systems are essential to trade and economic competitiveness in an increasingly globalized world, as well as for enhancing standards of living. Trade and economic activity are the most significant factors determining demand for transportation. A more complex set of determinants, including travel behavior, land use pattern, and urbanization, affect demand for passenger transportation, along with macroeconomic and fair market inputs. What will be the use of estimate energy consumption? Analysis of data on energy consumption helps to estimate the scale of environmental impacts of energy use, such as air pollution, global warming, and oil pollution. They can be used to help monitor the performance of key policies aimed at modifying energy consumption and stimulating energy efficiency. The type and extent of energy-related pressures on the environment depends both on the source of energy and on the total amount of energy consumed. Final energy consumption covers all energy delivered to the final consumer's store, transport, household, and other sectors for all energy uses. Solution for urban energy problems. Urban people may use public transport instead of using motorcycles and cars. Energy consumption must be minimized in all aspects. Production capacity may be increased. Use of energy efficient technology, using solar energy and wind energy, imposing strict laws, penalties, and energy audit. There are several hurdles that play havoc in energy conservation. They are lack of awareness, attitude, lack of technical knowledge, market distortion, capital shortages. Regardless of the level of economic development, it is essential to realize sustainable growth of the economies in order to maintain a world order. Restrictions on energy supply which may hinder a sustainable economic development should be avoided at all costs. At the same time, however, inefficient final energy consumption, which may result in aggravation of the global environmental problems, should not be allowed. Dear students, urbanization is the process by which large numbers of people become permanently concentrated in relatively small areas, forming cities. The degree of urbanization has increased tremendously. Various reasons are responsible for urbanization. Important among them are industrialization, modernization, social factors, and employment opportunities. This has led to unplanned urbanization, which has led to various problems. Due to unplanned urbanization, many problems occur, such as unemployment, electricity problem, pollution, social problems, improper sanitation facilities, etc. Energy is one of the major pillars of economic development of the society. Economic growth, along with a growing population, will obviously consume a lot of energy in every sector. To meet the enormous energy needs and for long-term sustainability, we should have more specific about the most efficient and cost-effective manner of energy use. That's all for today. Thank you all. See you in the next classroom. Till then, goodbye and good night.